Wow. No, that is not a post-apocalyptic movie scene. That is El Paso, Texas, where they have just declared a state of emergency. We're going to be talking about that, plus a lot more. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. My name is Luke Rudowski here of wearechange.org, and there is an overwhelming amount of crazy news to talk about, especially today, with what looks like a deliberate attempt to escalate tensions here in the United States, as of course we now have another major event that the corporate media is focusing on in order to push, in my opinion, a larger divide and conquer agenda. Also, bad news financially, not just for Anheuser-Busch. We're going to be talking about that, plus a lot more. Don't worry, the government is here. The government will help you, said no one ever, especially if they have any kind of grasp and understanding of history. The video that we played in the beginning of this broadcast was shared originally by Shelby Cap at KTSM. She's a local news reporter in Texas that highlighted the current situation outside of a church in a specific part of Texas that now even the president of the United States is sending in 1,500 U.S. National Guard troops in order to help out with this human disaster caused by the Biden administration and their lax policies that have incentivized people to walk over and cross into the United States illegally, which they, by the way, were able to do without having to do any kind of invasive medical procedure that normal people had to go through legally entering the United States, which finally, after so long, is going to be lifted officially in the United States. But again, what's happening in Texas is a key marker to the lawlessness and insanity proposed by many Democratic politicians that utterly destroy middle and blue-collar workers in the United States. Bernie Sanders called this a Koch brothers plan, and he wasn't wrong. He's not talking about that now, though. This says, of course, more cheap labor being introduced into the labor markets makes sure that wages go down, the price of living goes up, especially when it comes to rent and other properties, that people are finding it harder and harder to attain, as of course interest rates are going up and regional banks are going down. This says major banks like JP Morgan and Chase that are also tied into some very interesting lawsuits, particularly with them being accused of aiding and abetting an international trafficking operation for the last few decades, are the ones buying them up, as it looks like there is a major financial problem brewing, not just in the West, but all over the world, as the problems are so bad that even Iran is now seizing American-bound oil tankers. This as geopolitical tensions in the Middle East have been rising, and Saudi Arabia and Iran have been coming to the table. They have just ended the war in Yemen and look like they're making some key strategic moves with China against the U.S. petrodollar. But don't worry, at home, the U.S. government and local state governments have your back by limiting your ability to actually use stoves, forcing people on the electric grid, which of course centralized planners could control more, as New York State just pushed a bill that bans natural gas in new buildings in all of New York State. A draconian nanny state policy that, of course, doesn't really benefit anybody, hurts a lot of ethnic people that depend on gas stoves for their food that needs to be cooked in a particular way, which is going to make the economy worse so bad that even Anheuser-Busch, that's dealing with slumping sales, just disavowed their former brand ambassador, Dylan Mulvaney, that was telling young children on his TikTok, which overwhelmingly represent his audience, that they should be drinking a fluoridated beverage. Yes, these idiots, these buffoons at Bud Light, Anheuser-Busch, were too concerned about their ESG score, too concerned about pushing a narrative and an agenda, that they said, screw it, we're going to tell little toddlers to drink some beer. That's great for business, and it's not. And especially with a larger cultural pushback, them now disavowing Dylan Mulvaney is pretty eye-opening to say the least, as a lot of people are saying still, I don't care. I'm not going to be buying your beer. Beer is horrible for you, and that's one of the things that we talk about specifically on LukeUnfiltered.com, as today, we are going to have a specific video focused on health and being the strongest, best version of yourself. To get that video, all you have to do is sign up to our members-only platform just by simply clicking here. It's very simple, it's very quick, it's very easy. You fill in your information, you get emailed login data, you log in, and you will have access to today's video We have a video ready for you almost every single day. We also have a members-only store, a forum where you get to talk to the really incredible, awesome members, 3 masterclasses, giveaways, in real-life meetups, direct access to me, communication with me, plus a lot more. And I have to say, one of the most incredible things, especially since I started to do these in real life meetups with only members, is specifically meeting the members that have talked about listening to the information that we provided to them and then them turning around their life and health for the better. Specifically in Austin, this happened a bunch of times, and meeting individuals being like, hey man, I lost all this freaking weight. I'm feeling so much freaking better. Thank you for sharing this information with me to make sure I make the right changes in my life to be the strongest version of myself. Thank you. It worked. This is me. I'm happy. I'm filled with life more than ever. Thank you for that information. That right there has been extremely grateful, and we're going to continue on with that positive reinforcement, with sharing the right information, with talking about good habits that people should be taking to get their life in order, to be personally responsible for themselves, with another video specifically centered around that on lukeunfiltered.com. See it right now just by clicking this link right now, signing up, and I will see you there right after this video. Click it right here. It's also down in the description below. See you there soon. All of this, as I think it's fair to say that race relations in the United States have definitely seen better days. As the last few years, there have been a concerted effort by some very powerful people in order to push differences amongst the people here in the United States, probably in an effort so we don't really truly see who's causing the problems for all of us. All of this as a Barstool personality, Mitzi, is in hot water and was just fired for singing the lyrics of a Bone Thugs and Harmony song on Monday, a decision that Dave Portner said that he didn't want to take but was forced to take by the company that, of course, bought his company, even though Mitzi apologized, highlighting the reality of our modern-day societal system that has weaponized outrage and people feeling butthurt as some kind of weird form of empowerment. All of this as the latest event that just happened in New York City, where we have the latest event and video that is captivating the nation with Black Lives Matter and the NAACP now joining many Democrats that are calling for an ex-Marine to be arrested and, quote, held accountable after an incident where he choked a schizophrenic homeless career criminal in an attempt to try to subdue him. Now, we're not going to be showing you any kind of videos of this entire incident, since of course it is disturbing to see, even though every single corporate media and major social media institution is running with it full-time in its algorithms. It's important to note here, just like the videos of George Floyd, that this video is being weaponized. This video is being used for emotional purposes, when of course videos like this or videos similar to this are banned from the internet, but for some reason, and I think we know the reason, we're going to talk about the reason in just a little bit, this video is being highlighted and replayed over and over again in the minds of the American people, I think for a very specific reason. Now, why is this happening? What really happened here? Who knows? But let's just say what's going on here from a human perspective. It's tragic. A man lost his life. And from all the events that I'm looking at, the actions by 3 strap hangers, by these 3 New Yorkers, wasn't a deliberate attempt to try to end anyone's life. And this looks like an overall tragic accident. A tragic accident that a lot of people want to replay over and over again and automatically cast blame and responsibility, just like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is calling one man involved in here a, quote, murderer. A man that we still don't know the ethnicity of, that, again, somehow has been already deemed a white former Marine. Is this man a murderer? Well again, it's too early to understand even what really happened here. And I have to agree with the mayor here, as Eric Adams, the mayor of New York City, actually came out and said that this language by AOC is irresponsible, as of course there already have been protests surrounding this that a lot of people hope continue and get out of hand. Now, even though AOC is specifically focusing on the white person involved here, it's important to note here that 3 men altogether were involved in subduing a man who clearly had a lot of mental health issues and had over 40 plus prior arrests for assault, drugs, and criminal mischief. If you look at the other men involved here, one is either clearly Latino or Middle Eastern. The other man involved here clearly looks like a black man, but again, all of that doesn't matter, as we have the framing of this event from very biased sides that are not trying to look at the full details of what exactly happened here, but are trying to weaponize this incident as a form of a larger divide and conquer agenda, according to my own personal opinion. As, of course, a lot of people are sharing videos of this man being a Michael Jackson impersonator. They're running with the story that he was begging people for food and change when, of course, that's not what we're hearing happened here at all. And to say a white Marine veteran viciously, deliberately killed a black man because he was begging for food and water is again, a ridiculous premise that again is being emotionally weaponized. Why is it being emotionally weaponized? Because it fits a narrative that people are desperately trying to run with that absolutely has no merit in truth or actual statistical analysis. As we're hearing other versions of events that happened here, specifically talking about a man that was harassing, threatening, and assaulting people, throwing garbage at them, allegedly telling everyone that he was ready to give up his life, going through what looks like a very severe mental health break, was then temporarily detained by 3 multiracial Americans in an attempt to what looks like trying to prevent more harm in a tragic incident that looks like it's an accident that led to this man losing his life. Again, still tragic. Exactly what happened here, we don't know because there's different versions of events here. There's different stories here. But there's been many other different events, like, the media talking about how a man was a hero for choking a man out to prevent a fight on the subway. And when we look at that incident and those optics, they definitely didn't play along in some kind of victim narrative. When we look at the New York City subway station, we look at a system that has been becoming more and more violent, with many homeless people with very long rap sheets hurting and killing people routinely. Now, why aren't those stories talked about? Why aren't those individuals personalized? Why aren't we seeing old videos of those victims? Well, probably because the optics here aren't favorable towards the narrative that people are trying to run with here. Other online personalities have celebrated the fact that black people killed a white person because of their choice of words, who are now the same individuals who are saying this incident is definitely not justified and that this Marine deserves to be in trouble. And I think it's fair to say what we're seeing here is a deliberate action by a lot of powerful people that are just eager, that can't wait to push and propel a larger agenda that will have people hating each other and fighting each other and making other people feel like they are perpetual victims. And they will lie, cheat, steal, and manipulate situations that work in their favor, while, of course, weaponizing the legal justice systems with billionaires buying off district attorneys and the legal system that punish people arbitrarily for their political beliefs. This, as of course, major prominent leaders of the Proud Boys have just been found guilty and convicted of sedition charges here in the United States, as they face a maximum of 20 plus years in prison. In Brazil, the police just raided the home of the former president there, Bolsonaro, for allegedly having fake cards related to the global sickness a few years ago, as allegedly Tucker Carlson just got canned because he tried to show a little bit of humanity and addressed bias which he saw as wrong within his own personal viewpoint, which he's being punished for. And when you have a 2-tier justice system and societal outrage machine working 24/7 nonstop, weaponizing any kind of incident in order to try to hurt people, to make people hate each other, to make people fight each other, that's a system that deserves to be called out more than ever, especially during these very drastic times where at any moment and any times things could derail towards a very negative path in this country, just like they have a few months ago. And the only thing preventing it, the only thing stopping it, is us being able to speak truth to power, is individuals being able to de-escalate situations and not to weaponize them. And if you agree with this larger messaging, with this approach, which I think is more crucial than ever, share this video with your friends and family members, as of course the outrage machine could only work if there's enough outrage. Yes, we should have empathy. Yes, we should have understanding. Yes, what happened is tragic. But the way it's being weaponized should be absolutely questioned, as of course there are tragic victims every single day. And there's a reason we don't hear about those stories. There's a reason we don't hear about those victims. There's a reason every little single detail about them is not being released here, as of course it's fair to say that we are in a very dangerous, precarious situation that's going to get a lot more dangerous if people start believing the bull crap that's being sold to them. So yeah, that's happening. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys actively watching and sharing these videos, and this is why. I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org. One more video coming your way on lukeunfiltered.com. See you there right now.